What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 228. And we start today's episode off with some player training for taking a brief look at the tournament prize money we received for progressing to our first ever Champions League final in the last game in the last episode. Yep, our 2-0 victory over Bayern Munich at the Allianz Arena meant we won the tie by 4 goals to 1. And for the first time in 10 seasons, I'm going to the grand final. We're off to the Champions League final, where of course we'll be taking on Manchester City in the grand final. So super excited for our first of the save. Not entirely sure we'll be able to bring home the silverware as well, but just reaching the final is an achievement on its own, so I'm very happy about that. But for the first of our final 3 Premier League games of the season today, we travel to the nation's capital to take on West Ham at the London Stadium, where of course, as we know, the Premier League title has already been won. Chelsea have wrapped up the title. They mathematically won it in the last episode, but as we know, it's been won for quite some time now. So the highest we can finish is second, and of course right now we're still several points clear of Arsenal in 5th place. I believe it's 8 points clear with 3 games to go, so yeah, Champions League football is all but guaranteed as well. But coming to this game, Ivan Toney right now has 29 goals for the Premier League season, and he's 3 clear of Leroy Sané in 2nd place. I'd love to see Toney notch up another 30 plus goal season in a top tier European competition, but also he's targeting his 7th golden boot in 8 seasons in top tier European leagues, and he has a chance to do that in the final 3 games. Heading to this game, 29 goals for the season, that would become 30 early into the second half. He had a golden chance in the first half but failed to hit the target, but as Gorbels rolls him through here, the shocker latches onto it, and 10 minutes after the restart, I love the samba from Ivan Toney there as he reaches 30 goals in the Premier League season. Lovely little 1-2 between these two players here, and Gorbels has been pretty decent as well in the second half of the season in limited minutes. Great little ball through by the French striker, and Ivan Toney, eyes on the prize, drills it past Luis Maximiano and finds the back of the net for goal number 30 in the Premier League. And I know I've said it so many times before, and I'll say it once again, I've never had a striker like him before. There's only one striker in my FIFA career modes that in my opinion has come close to his rate of goals to games, and that is Mbanyang. Ivan Toney is just a notch above though, absolutely world class, and you know the game has now downgraded him to 82 overall. It's so ridiculous, isn't it? As Harry Winks makes it 1-1 here with 10 minutes to go, and West Ham do salvage a point later on. But it's just so ridiculous. Like, this guy's won 7 golden boots in 8 European competitions. Or I should say he's about to win 7 golden boots in 8 European top tier leagues. You know, and of course last season, the only reason he didn't win it last season is because he joined a new team halfway through the campaign. He's one of the best strikers in world football, proven over the past 8 years, and yet the game just continues to downgrade him because now he's in his 30s. He stopped growing naturally as well when he hit around 80 overall, so all the ratings he grew, I believe his peak was 86 rated. Those 6 ratings there were because of player training and not due to the game upgrading him. And it's like, come on man, you know, they brought in dynamic potential this year, EA, but shockingly it doesn't really work the way I thought it was going to. I can't really understand it, you know, it seems the same thing every single year. When a player turns 30, they're on the downslope regardless of how good they are in their form. It's such a shame as well, one of my best heroes and legends ever, the best goal scorer I've ever had, has, I wouldn't say being ruined by EA because, well, as we've seen this season, 30 goals in the Premier League, we're still able to score goals with left, right and centre, but he could have been so much better, so much higher rated had the game not fucked around with him and downgraded him just because he went into his 30s. So goddamn frustrating. And 30 is not old, for goodness sake. I'll be there in a couple of years' time. Well, 3 years' time, but either way. But still, for the second of 3 games in today's episode, it's time for our final away game of the Premier League campaign, as we will take on Manchester United here away at Old Trafford, aiming to get back to winning ways here and win in our penultimate game of the Premier League season. We had the first chance of the game, Tyler Allen striking just wide, but with 10 minutes to go in the first half, Elliot Harris would give us the lead and make it 1-0. And I've been so impressed with Harris, and you know, I've been talking about how good Toney's been this season. 30 goals in the Premier League season, surely going to win yet another golden boot. You can't forget how good Elliot Harris has been this year as well. That's goal number 18 in the Premier League this season for Harris. So he and Tony have combined for 48 Premier League goals this season, and Chopper's been fantastic. I said at the start of the season I was targeting him to win the Golden Boot. Clearly the mentor is not finished yet, but we know for sure that when Tony does eventually hang up his boots, we've got a great replacement for him, the prodigy Elliot Harris, as he makes it 1-0. And 9 minutes after the restart, still leading by a goal in a game where we played far better. We've doubled our lead through Reece James, who's been one of our unsung heroes this season. He's come up big in quite a few of our big clashes this year, particularly against Chelsea in the FA Cup quarter-final. And in this game as well, he was playing pretty well from the middle of the park, and he got our second goal of the game too. Lovely little assist there, and a great finish by Reece as the former Chelsea man makes it 2-0, and we double our lead. Manchester United looking for a consolation goal here, hit the post as Dean Henderson did well to close down the angles. It was still 2-0, and with 70 minutes to go, a chance to wrap up the points in style and make it 3-0. Brendan Quinn turns over, and I thought I was dropping in there, sadly not, just over the bar and behind for a goal kick. But in the end, it did not matter. We couldn't find a third goal because the 2 was all we needed. Final score: Manchester United 0, Sheffield United 2. Goals for Elliot Harris and Reece James either side of half-time give us the big 3 points and ensure we will end the campaign off of away games with a victory. So yeah, very pleased with that there. Good to get back on track, and you see Chelsea here draw with Manchester City. That's now their 4th slip-up of the season. They've won 33 of 37 games, but 101 points on the board for Chelsea. Best goal-scoring record, best defensive record. Despite drawing that game there, we're still 13 points behind. What a season Frank Lampard's team have had. But still heading into the final game of the Premier League season at home to rock-bottom Huddersfield Town, already relegated. As you can see by the race for the Golden Boot, Ivan Toney is pretty much guaranteed it now, bar an almighty comeback from Leroy Sané on the final day. He's got 30, the German has 26, which means that Ivan Toney is going to record his 7th Golden Boot in 8 seasons, and I'm sure he'll get presented with it before the final day, or perhaps even after the final day as well. I'd love to see that. Wouldn't that be so cool? The player getting given the Golden Boot Award, you know, because in basketball, previously, nowadays, there's these sort of like NBA awards at the end of the season, but previously in the NBA seasons, the MVP would get given the MVP award before like a playoff game, for example. It was really, really cool. I wish they went back. I wish they would go back to that, the NBA. The end of season awards are okay, but I kind of missed the player getting the MVP award for a playoff game. I'd love to see that in football as well. You know, a player that wins the Golden Boot or is dead certain to win the Golden Boot, getting presented with it for the final like home game of the season. That would be so cool, because 31 minutes in, he all but confirms it here. Ivan Toney sent forward with 15 minutes to go in the half and gets goal number 31 in the Premier League season to open the scoring after a pretty poor opening half an hour, it must be said, but he only needs the one chance, Ivan Toney, and he takes it. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the best striker I've ever had in any FIFA career mode save ever. There's only one other player, and that is Mbayang Niang, that I've had as much confidence in when going forward one-on-one, but Ivan Toney is a notch above. Even at 32 years old, even when being downgraded by EA to oblivion, it seems, at this current pace, he is still unstoppable. The shocker makes it 1-0 and gives us the lead with goal number 31 in the Premier League season. Harris almost made it 2-0 right before the break. His strike smacking the woodwork and going behind for a goal kick. But in the second half in the game where we played far better, a lovely move here between Shaw, Harris and Barry Walsh sent the Northern Irish count forward, and our number 8 smacks it in 8 minutes after the restart to make it 2-0. And this was such a nice goal to see as well. Shaw getting involved in the build-up, Harris with the assist, and Barry Walsh finishing the move off. Oh, you got to love the 4 celebrating there. Harris, Shaw, Walsh and Toney together as Barry makes it 2, and we're surely on course for the 3 points. Question was though, could we get a clean sheet on the final day? Well, sadly not. Huddersfield Town might be going down to the Championship, but they'll have something to celebrate on the final day, and that's a wonderful goal. This was absolutely glorious here. You know, so often, as I said before, conceding goals against the AI, you kind of know what they're going to be before you play the game, either crosses into the box or those finesse shots from range. For this one, it was the latter. Lovely bent effort in off the post as the Terriers get themselves back in the game in half the deficit, and with 18 minutes to go, they almost drew back on level terms. Fabulous save by Sam Hill, ensuring that wouldn't be the case, and we would win on the final day, even though the game was kind of meaningless. So final score, Sheffield United 2, Huddersfield Town 1. The Terriers were already down. We were already guaranteed to finish in second place, but it was still nice to win on the final day and see Toney get another goal as well, as he cements his place as Golden Boot winner for the 7th time in 8 European seasons. That is just absolutely unreal. So final look at the league table after Chelsea destroyed Everton on the final day. They win the title 13 points clear of us with a whopping 104 points and a plus 61 goal difference record, scoring 80 times this season. The best scorers in the division with only 19 goals conceded. Best scorers, best defence record, most amount of points, 104, as us, Spurs and Manchester City remain in the other 4 places. Stoke City, Everton and Huddersfield Town, they are down to the Championship for next season. But even though we don't win the title this season, it still has been a great year for us, finishing in 2nd place and with an FA Cup final and our first ever Champions League final to come in our next 2 games as well. There is still a chance we could have some silverware in the cabinet come the end of the campaign. I'm targeting at least one of these final 2 trophies, and you'll see the first of 2 in the very next episode, with the penultimate episode of Season 10, the FA Cup final, our second of the save, as we'll be taking on Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. But that was today's episode of Career Mode, guys, so a big thank you for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed it, and if you did enjoy today's episode, then please drop a like. Much love to you all, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the final 2 episodes of the season, with the FA Cup final coming first very soon.